Well, people didn't run us off the internet for last month's video.
That's true. Yeah.
So let's do another one.
We'll do another one, and if nothing else, like you said last time,
We can just watch it for
good,
our own entertainment.
Good for us to go back and check out.
I hate watching myself on film.
I do too. But
Dude, what a month.
September, yeah.
What a month. This has been a fun month. Not necessarily fully because of the fishing on my part.
Yeah.
But dude, you started the month with a bang.
Yeah, so Carter and I were out fishing one morning, super early, and ended up catching a tarpon.
Leadering it. Yeah,
we leadered it.
Getting into the leadering it.
So we leadered it, and then probably leadered it in like 10 minutes.
Oh, yeah. Carter's a beast.
And then about 5 minutes later, it wore through the bite tippet and came off. So
Dude,
almost
such
got
a
it to the
big
boat,
fish, too.
but-
What's your estimate on size?
I'd say it's honestly probably like 80, 90 pounds, perfect size for fly fishing.
We'll throw. I think we can throw that video up in the feed.
Yeah.
Dude, what a fish.
We'll have to put that up.
I was off that morning and came out. Like y'all got that thing like crack of dawn.
Yeah.
And then I came out and set up behind y'all and was getting shots, catching bonnet heads.
Right.
With Wyatt and the wife, and then all of a sudden tarpon start rolling right in front of me, and Wyatt, 2.5-year-old, tarpon.
Yeah. Which is really cool to see y'all out there. I know that y'all were planning on coming out, but it was cool to see you out there with Wyatt and catching the sharks.
Got to plant the seed, water
Right.
it. But he saw the tarpon.
Yeah.
And he was, I spent a lot of time in Colorado this month. When I was gone, they took him to the, down in Savannah, there's an aquarium down there.
Yeah.
And they walked all through the aquarium and got to the end, and Wyatt apparently stopped and starts looking around. He's like, tarpon? Tarpon? And starts running around looking for the tarpon.
He's going to be a tarpon nut.
Dude, I hope so. He'd be better than all of us.
Probably.
Dude, what a bang, though. That tarpon, when I woke up to that, I think I woke up to that video.
Yeah. Yeah, we were pretty stoked. I mean, granted, it was a lot of work,
Yeah.
Like we definitely
We'd been fishing that area quite a bit.
Right.
We'd been working that area and getting shots on tarpon, and we had a couple eats.
We did, yeah.
But didn't ever get one, and then y'all leadered that one that morning. That was incredible.
Yeah.
But then the redfish. So about that, I think you were only there actually you left the next day.
So I left literally the next day.
For Montana.
So I was in Montana.
How was the fishing out there?
It was decent, It wasn't like, I definitely didn't have my best day, but I didn't have my worst day. Fished a couple days on the Missouri River in Craig, catching big, trout on hoppers, and then visited some friends in the valley. So it was good to get out there, and get a little bit of a break.
That's good to reset and do something different. I mean, that's exactly why I go out west every year as well.
Yeah, so like as soon as I got back, you left.
I was having some great redfish fishing. It
Really?
was sad. Yeah, it was sad. The flood tides were awesome. Actually broke my purse. No, that was August. Never mind. But still had some great fishing into that first part of September. Had some great days. Ended up right before I left. Got out there with Junior and worked a bank and just had some cool eats and some cool shots and just fun day. Junior and I don't get to fish as much as we used to.
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun. But then prior to that with clients, had some great low tide days, couple of freak floods kind of mixed in there, not right at the beginning of the month. And then I was off to Colorado. And when you rolled back in, Colorado is always a really good reset. For me, you fish, you're like fishing, and I took fly stuff to Colorado, didn't end up using it, which is typically what happens. But you're fishing, I love it, it's fun, but you got to do something different. You got to have something that breaks it up. You go a different pursuit. Dude, as always, Colorado's, when you get in the mountains, just being there alone, in the wilderness, we're typically setting up camp like 3 miles away from the trucks, just back in the backcountry. It's quiet, stars are out. It's just always a good experience. It's always a good reset. This year, the elk were pretty quiet, unfortunately. There was Sunday night, we had an elk bugling down below camp and kind of waking us up through the night, bugling all night. 5:30 in the morning, bugling, get up, go. He's gone.
Yeah.
Go. So it's found where he'd been, and sure enough, it appeared to be a herd of some size. with him. Like he had cows with him, and there was poo everywhere and fresh tracks and the whole 9 yards. Some bad weather rolled in, but then some bad weather rolled in. We had a day of bad weather. We made a move because it was just so quiet.
Yeah.
Like it was fun, like awesome. Being out there, got a grouse. Like it's just fun putting miles on in the mountains and seeing what you find. We bumped a couple cows, but it's just so quiet. Like we were not finding bugling elk. So we had to start transitioning. Like, hey, part of that was pressure, just a lot of people out there and over-the-counter public land. But then, so we started doing a lot more cow calling, and we'd made a move after the bad weather, got into another area, hit it really hard, and we were working through this pretty rugged area, and we came across an area where like, hey, this looks good, set up, started doing some cow calls, me and my buddy, just doing little cow calls, and then boom, muzzleloader goes off about 20 yards from me. He'd stopped cow calling and there for a bit, and I had just done a couple of cow calls, and sure enough, this bull came across the opening right in front of him, coming straight at my cow calls. So there it was. It was quiet season, but we split the meat and brought back I brought back over 100 pounds of meat. So burgers are back on the menu.
About. Yeah, because I get to benefit.
All my close friends know what that means. Burgers are back on the menu. I brought back 48 pounds of burger.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that.
So good. So good. Ended up, so then we pull out the map and we're like, we're 5 miles from the truck. Fortunately, we had a third person with us, kind of learning the ropes. He hasn't really done it much. But, oh, man, what a help. We ended up doing 2 loads, getting the whole thing out, packed it all down to camp 1.5 miles, and the next day did the 3.5 mile trek back to the trucks. And fortunately, it was cool weather, and the meat was great. Yeah, what an experience. And saw trout. I was like going by the creeks with polarized glasses, being like, oh, man, look at those trout. But
it's hard not to look.
It's hard not to look. I need to go back there and just hunt grouse and fish one day. Yeah. It's a beautiful place. So that was my reset, and I'm back and fully charged and jumped right back into flood tides.
Yeah.
But while I was gone, y'all had some big floods.
Yeah. While you were gone, we had the big king tides. Yeah. But we also had a foot of extra water blowing in on every king tide. So we also had some wind, which I want to say, like, your boat and the boat that I run, that Floyd 10 weight, stuff that I probably wouldn't have been as comfortable running in the Mosquito. Yeah.
It doesn't
no
affect
problem.
It. You're just like, hey, you're not going to, so back, like it started, what is today, the 25th? No, 28th? I don't know. Today, there's a hurricane going through Helene is going through, it's up in Asheville about right now, so things are settling down. But that is what's happening today, which is why we're doing this a little early. Yeah. Because we're like, well, we're not fishing. We're not going out in a day like today.
Yeah. It's.
But a general windy day, 15, 20 mile an hour winds.
You can still get anywhere
you can go where you need to go. Yeah.
And so having that option with our boats, you can get to the spots you need to get to on those higher tides. Yeah. And, while for the king tides, like it can blow out essentially. It just gets too deep. But on the incoming and the outgoing, the fishing can still be really good.
I would say I'm learning better. I think it's harder to find places where the fish are happy on those big tides. And the fish have to play. They have to push on up to those places. But those big king tides can fish well. That being said, I wasn't here for it. It sounds like y'all got a ton of, where even those places are deep water. So
yeah, I mean, we found fish all the way in the back against the tree line, tailing, 28-inch fish, completely underwater,
Oh, like the fish is up, and you can see the tail is like subsurface?
Yeah, and you see the body just all the way underwater.
But there's no tail sticking out of the water.
Right.
Yeah.
And then we also got, one day, they weren't super happy tailing, but we found a lot of fish really happy slurping shrimp. on the outgoing. And so
Popping the surface.
switched to a gurgler and had a handful of eats, caught
That's
a few.
awesome. Gotta love it when you can switch to the gurgler.
I told my clients, I was like, I didn't have that on my bingo card today, but I'll take it. If they're not tailing, that's a great
exactly. Oh,
yeah.
100%. No, that's awesome. Yeah. What a month.
Yeah, and so like even since you've been back, you know, the tides haven't been as big, still pretty big.
No, we had good quality tides, about the right amount of water.
Yeah.
The couple of floods I've fished since I've been back have been quality flood tides. And then not yesterday, so Wednesday, freaking just
you hit the low tide,
fire low. Because sometimes, you know, everybody's so focused on the flood tides, and the flood tides are great. It's awesome. Seeing tails out of the water, it's hard to beat that, or barely out of the, not out of the water, but sticking up on the, it's hard to beat that. But then again, sometimes, especially now, we're coming into this kind of transition, we're coming up to fall, those fish are trying to get fat before winter really sets in. And I feel like at the moment, it just feels like we're getting an early winter. It feels like things are trying to change. That first hurricane in August sucked out so much heat out of the water, and things got cool, and then they started warm back up, and then this thing's rolling through right now, and I know that water's cooling down.
Yeah,
I mean, I even
saw with the cooler water, a lot more shrimp than I was expecting.
Oh yeah, no, I'm seeing redfish eating shrimp. I'm seeing them starting to behave more, chasing down the mullet like they have to eat them.
Yeah.
I feel like fall is showing up a little early. Things are transitioning. The floods are incredible, but you cannot discount the lows.
Right.
What we saw on Wednesday, fishing artificial lures, was just bonkers.
Yeah.
Those fish, you couldn't close the bail. We had a number of fish that you knew, hey, they're sitting in that little patch, kind of little patch of grass sticking out of onto a little mud flat, and they were in there. And that lure's coming down, and you'd have to get the bail closed because the freaking fish would eat it before you could even, like, it would touch the water, and somehow they're already running with it.
Yeah.
And I don't ever like numbers set faults. You know, people start getting wrapped around. We didn't catch 40 fish, so it wasn't a good day. That's garbage. We caught a lot of fish.
Yeah.
I mean, we caught a ridiculous amount. Redfish, trout, 22-inch flounder. Carrie was mad that I didn't bring that home. I was like, that lady went back to make more flounder.
Yeah.
Just bonkers day. Yeah. And that's the kind of stuff that gets me really excited about fall, because, you know, fall fishing on really most tides. I mean, those fish are out there. They're trying to eat. They're trying to get fat. Winter's coming. So yeah, lows, highs, everything in between. Like these October, November, December are my favorite months fishing here in the Low Country, because it doesn't. Let's go fishing. You know, if the weather's not what it is today, you can get out there and have some fun. I saw triple tail. There were a bunch, and I expect to see that through October. I don't have a lot of places where I find good numbers of triple tail, but there were like 5 in that little grass patch over there, little middle marsh grass patch. I
think we had said in the last video that the triple tail hadn't been as good so far, but I feel like in the past couple weeks it's gotten a lot better.
Oh, they're gonna, and that's what I saw last year too. I got back from elk hunting last year and rolled right into just a bunch of triple tail. Now, we had 2 follows, didn't get any 3 or 4 days ago when we found those triple tails. We basically fished the incoming, looked for redfish, trout, you know, all that kind of, redfish, triple tail. Was hoping to look for tarpon. I don't expect to see much more tarpon wise. Maybe out on the beaches with the mullet starting to migrate. You know, but we just haven't been getting good weather days to be as much as we talk up these boats.
Yeah.
I don't like, you know, it's dangerous. It's dangerous to get out there. I don't like blurring that line.
You got to pick your days.
You got to pick your days, and we just haven't had days. As much as I've wanted to go out there and see if the tarpon are working those mullet on the beaches right now, again, there's pros and cons to running flats boats, and I haven't had the days to do that. But the triple tail were in the grass there. The redfish are happy. Lows, highs. It's an exciting time to be going fishing.
Yeah. And so I think that's the thing, like moving forward into October, you know, definitely the bigger fish is kind of probably over now for the most
Tarpon,
part.
tarpon jacks for the most
tarpon
part. Yeah,
jacks. But the red fishing,
Let's go.
and even the trout fishing,
Dude,
on
the trout
artificial,
bites, yeah.
I mean, it's about to
Yep.
get really, really good.
Like getting on a good trout bite is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Like when you're, I mean, that is one thing where I'll throw numbers out there because
Yeah.
you can put out 30, 40 trout.
Yeah,
Even
if you
more,
get into a
even
good-
if you get into a
trout
good,
bite.
good trout bite
Yeah.
on artificials, I've
Yeah.
never quite been able to make the fly work as effectively as artificials do. I mean,
Right.
artificials just tear up trout. But yeah, good trout bite's a lot of fun. Just boom, boom,
Yeah.
one after the other. That's fun for 30 minutes an hour. That's a good time. Dude, it's again, exciting time.
Mm-hmm.
It's to be fishing in the low country. I have a handful of openings for October and November timeframe. I'm
I do
sure
as
you have
well,
a couple
yeah.
as well. So yeah, if you're looking at fishing, that's kind of the whole point of these videos is to get people excited about fishing down here,
Yeah.
coming out, or to give you what we're seeing. But yeah, if you're looking at getting out, this is the time to do it.
Probably one of our favorite times.
No, it is my
to
favorite time,
fish, especially
It's-
for redfish.
Especially,
it
for
can be
redfish,
crazy.
this is my favorite time. The next 3 months, hands down, my favorite. You can still get bad days. Bad days. Every day's good on the water, but you'll get days the fish don't want to play.
Right.
But mostly, like we're looking at
But
a very
overall,
good
yeah,
stretch
in
of
general.
quality fishing
Yeah.
for the next couple of months. So look forward to getting some of y'all out there.
Yeah. Like Rob said, I think we both have some openings and definitely would like to get you out there and
Do it.
see what we can get into. So
Yeah.
thanks for watching.